Hello and welcome to Brimwood Farm. Now here in Suffolk, East Anglia in the UK, I'm extremely lucky to have inherited 37 acres of farmland. And it's mostly pasture at the moment that is grazed by sheep. But many of you already know that the long-term dream here is to convert the entire 37 acres to a rewilded site, allowing the sheep, the pigs, the goats and all of the other animals to roam free while creating a wildlife-rich paradise. And this will allow me long-term, in conjunction with the market garden and flower farm, to offer the highest welfare meat possible from our rare breed pigs, goats, sheep and eventually cows. Now the undertaking of that is actually quite big, because although nature just does her thing, to keep all the animals in I have to do peripheral fencing, and that is costly and hasn't been done yet. And so although I've got really nice thick old hedgerows and a bit of a woodland in the pit and two big fields that we've completely left for wildflowers and scrub to start appearing, while I'm saving up for the peripheral fencing, I really want to add more habitat, and that comes in the form of a lovely new wood. Now I know a lot of you long-term subscribers have known that we've already planted a woodland, and here is the map of that woodland. It's on a big field that we split in two. So the top end is wildflowers, there's a bird photography hide in the middle, and then this bottom end is the woodland. And you can see all these individual dots are where we planted the trees, and there are several groves which will eventually, once the trees have grown up, will be connected by pathways, and then a secret grove down the bottom. But there's also a lot of black spots, and those black spots are sadly where our trees died. We started the woodland just before that horrible pandemic hit, and it meant that following the restrictions on movement and then a drought in the spring, we lost sadly a lot of trees. However, I've got a lot more just arrived. And if you want to look at more detail of this map and look at where all the trees are, then I'll put a link in the description below, because it's all on my website, so you can see and have an investigate. Now I'm extremely excited to tell you that I applied for some trees from a company called Forest, and what here looks like a load of rubbish is in fact over 1,000 trees kindly donated by the company. I'll put the link to Forest down below. It's a really great UK based company. You can support trees, you can sponsor trees, you can donate trees, you can even build your entire woodland. And the best thing about it is, once the woodland is fully done, it will be open to you. Because it's on private farmland, you will have to email me and work out a date, but it will be open to the public to come and have a look around. Look at all these trees. It's very exciting. There's a load of willow. Here's some gorse, some holly. There's some hazel here, some walnut. Now, because I'm a private landowner, I had to order more than 1,000 trees, which I did, but they had so many varieties I didn't know what to choose. So I basically just ordered 22 everything. Which means I've got everything from gorse and dog roses all the way through to walnuts, sweet chestnuts and spruce. So I kind of need to go through the trees a little bit and work out what I want to put and where I want to put it in the woodland. But for the most part, I'm just going to mix them all up and throw them in and see basically what survives. So let's head over to the woodland. I'm going to put a few in today, obviously 1,000. It's going to take me a very long time. Hopefully I'm going to get some helpers to come and do some planting with me, but let's get a few in today. And I just want to talk through a few changes I'm going to make putting these ones in to the ones that I did last time. So this is where the start of our bird hide wildlife pond is, and then the woodland is over here. And the idea is this is a peripheral woodland, and we want to extend it in and across this field. Now, as you might be able to see, there's quite a few plastic tubes around in the distance, but not a lot of trees. And that's because actually I've decided the tree defenders just didn't work in our scenario. This hawthorn is, 3 years old, and it's been stunted by this. So it's not done particularly well. Also what happens is you end up with lots of broken, brittle pieces of plastic all over your wood. And then when your trees do lose their leaves in the autumn, they just drop down in the side, and I find they go mouldy. And they don't actually help the tree at all. Now, of course, the main reason for using these, you think nobody can see, Jock. The reason for using these is to protect them or defend them from predators like rabbits, hare and deer, of which I do have a lot of. However, when I put these in, the field was a lot lower, it was a lot more cut, and I found that actually it kind of signalled to the pests where the trees were. So the only ones that have survived within these defenders are prickly things like blackthorn and hawthorn, which the deer don't really want to eat. The things that haven't had this on seem to have survived better. So I am not doing pieces of plastic rolls this time around. And if you're interested in what I'm doing here at Brynwood Farm and want to help, then you can always join Patreon. It's $2 a month for access behind the scenes, or you can follow the link below to buy me a coffee and buy a little coffee as a thanks for the video and to help fund the conservation. This little tree here, it's still quite little, but it doesn't have a protector on at all. It's not one of the spiky ones, but it's more easily able to disappear into the surrounding brush. And I do have a lot of tree predators on site because the entire idea of our farm is to bring in wildlife. So we have muntjac, and we have roe, and we have red deer, and we have hare, and we have rabbits. But we also now have, as you can see, a lot of scrub, which will hopefully protect a lot of these trees. Now obviously we're going to lose some. I can't expect to put in 1,000 trees and them all to survive. But I think, having tried with the plastic protectors and it not working, I have decided to give it a different try this time. And this time we have mats. Now, do these protect the tree in any way? No, they don't. But I think, as I said, if they're going to be grazed, they're going to be grazed regardless, and they're going to have more chance of surviving not in a tube. These, however, are weed suppressant mats, and they go around the base. Your tree comes out here, and not only does it suppress the weeds so that the soil beneath is just for the tree, but I'm expecting that it will lock in some moisture as well, and it's the lack of moisture which was the major killer of our last lot of trees. So I've got all of these mats. I've also got some little wooden pegs to peg them in with. So actually this bit takes longer than planting the tree, but I hope I'll have more success. Now, whereas for a garden tree, for example, or orchard trees, you might dig it properly in, dig a square hole, fill the bottom with some manure and rich compost, put your tree in and then plant it well. You just can't do that for 1,000 trees. So there is a slightly easier way. So all I do is I push the fork or the spade into the ground, move it forward a little bit to nudge a little hole. All of these trees have fairly small root balls on them, so then you can just plop the tree in, squash it back down behind it, squash the soil back down behind it, and then peg in the mat, as I'm showing here. Just 999 to go. Well, that's 10 in. I'm not going to show you me planting them all because that's going to be hella long and hella boring. Instead, let's have a look what's on the badger cam. And if you want to find out more about my regenerative agriculture and rewilding antics here at Brynwood Farm, check out this video.